make beautiful things. So trying to find a way to re-engage the arts and the crafts and artisanry back into the building of all things, done by people who are spending their day loving what they're doing rather than hating it and working for the biggest wage they can get out of a contractor that couldn't care less. So there's where the act of re-engaging the crafts and the guilds and the human soul back into all that we do will not only heal ourselves, begin to heal the world, bring great beauty, and when you have great beauty, you can have love. Actually, love is the engineer of beauty. 4 minutes ago, I was on an airplane ride to Southwest has a flight to Islip that gets you there in 2 hours from Midway, and a little girl came on with her father, and God love her, she was just homely. 8, 9 years old, just as ugly as a stump, you might say. And I thought, I didn't think too much about it. But she and her father were laughing and kibitzing around, and oh my goodness, they were having a good time. And you so clearly loved each other. And this went on and on for a couple hours. I kept looking over. And by the end of the flight, I could only see, my optic nerve and brain could only identify a most beautiful little girl. Love, the Greek said that which is love becomes beautiful, and that which is beautiful becomes love. If we don't bring love and beauty into our daily lives, into the things we make and do, then we will not have sustainability. And that's the same way with loving all the brothers and sisters in the land. Oops. Well, I did it again. Anyway, I got to go anyway. So there were some other things I wanted to say, but also with respect to sustainability, if our children, our little babies, and that's where the word epistemology came from, if our children don't grow up with a deeper understanding, almost without question understanding of what we're talking about, then there is no sustainability. Our babies have to be brought into the process almost immediately and see adults doing beautiful things by making things, seeing adults caring about things and people and plants and animals that don't look like themselves, but see adults happy and loving and taking care of things. Recognizing and honestly the uncompromising acts of nature, and learn through creativity to live in harmony with the nature, which we have so I think cavalierly put aside in favor of our own genius. And I'll just stop it right there. Maybe there'll be a time for a question. Yes, sir?
Would you please define 2 words? One word, the biotic system, of which, Homo sapiens is a part of, with civilization and culture. And the other word is limnology. Limnology?
Limnology?
That's what I mean. Limnology, I thought that was...
Numinous?
No. It's somehow true. This IPFW, Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne Biologic Center, the director uses limnology, and
limnology is the study of lakes. And biotic simply means that it bears the 2 forms of life together in a system. So you have plants and animals growing together. Is that what you were wondering?
Pardon me. Biotic system. Biotic system.
Oh, biotic?
Yeah. How did you define that, please, sir?
B-I-O-T.
I see.
I see. That means bios comes from the Greek meaning 2. The 2 observable life forms as they knew it then, plants and animals. And a biotic system would be plants and animals together as part of a system. Biotic. Yes, sir?
Actually, just had a statement based on your last comment about the homely girl and love.
What is that, Louis?
Based on your comment about the love and relating to the homely girl, I have a statement I came up with. It. Attractiveness is one's outer beauty, and beauty is one's inner attractiveness. And your attractiveness will not necessarily make you more beautiful, but one's beauty can make you more attractive.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. This fellow over here, I think, had one first. Oh.
one thing I learned from Taliesin with Frank Lloyd Wright is he was building at a time of depression, and even though sort of materials were hard to come by, he was able to build something very beautiful, very functional, at a relatively low cost. And just wondering if you'd like to comment about that, how you bring those three together.
Well, that's, Frank Lloyd Wright was in his time, and I think doing quite well for it, but I think I'm yearning for a time back before there were architects, when we had craftsmen and builders who knew how to build things, and architecture has become something else, and it gets much more bound up in the ego and less in the responsiveness to the client or to the place. I know Frank Lloyd Wright did try to relate to the place where he was building and tried to create a low, flat, horizontal dimensions and perspective of the prairie and the flat land in which he worked, and recognized that the sun was the reality, and that the sun really did go up and down 7-8 degrees around here in the sun on July day, 28 degrees out on a winter day. These are real things that really happened, and the sun really does it. So it's a good idea to incorporate these things into architecture. People knew about these things a long time ago. The Indians, when they built the teepee, tended to build the teepee such that the the backside was more sloped into the western winds and wouldn't blow over as easy, and and then the smoke comes out. So even what we regarded as the simplest architecture was responding to the realities of the place where they lived. We need to get, we're working, I got to go right now over to a project where we're working with Pokagon Band of Potawatomi and building their cultural center. And of course, we could talk all day long about the iconography that goes on in Indian cultural centers, but what we have done is place the architect with the engineer, with the landscape architect, and the ecologist, keep them on the same plane, have that project run by a creative director, and we'll not even select the architect until we actually figure out, after schematic design, what it is we're going to build. Then we'll select the architects and the team that can build that. We're working with the Indians first on it. So it's sort of changing the paradigm a little bit, although it's uncomfortable from a contracting standpoint and our architecture record standpoint, and of course ego is always in there too. And so, well, we're working on it. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a question. I just want to thank you for your work, because it's been such an inspiration to so many of us who do natural restoration.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah.
Would love to spend the afternoon with Jerry. Unfortunately, you're heading